JEPI's 8 to 10% yield is one of the most discussed numbers in income investing right now. We know that. It sounds like it solves everything for us. Put your money in, collect 8%, right? Every month, let the dividends compound. What's not to like about this? But here's the honest answer about this. And there's a lot to like, of course, but there's also something significant you're trading away for that yield. Most people who own JEPI understand the first part, right? Fewer understand the second. And whether JEPI is right for your situation depends entirely on which trade-off you can actually live with. Let me explain exactly how JEPI generates that yield, because the source really matters, okay? JPMorgan's equity premium income ETF holds a diversified portfolio of approximately 100 to 150 S&P 500 stocks. On top of those holdings, the fund sells equity-linked notes, ELNs, right? Which are contracts that function similarly to covered calls on the S&P 500. The premium collected from selling those ELNs gets distributed to us shareholders on a monthly basis. Fantastic. The yield you receive is not from dividends generated, okay, by the underlying stocks. It's primarily from options premiums that the fund collects by agreeing to cap the upside on its stock portfolio, if you're unaware. And this matters for really two big reasons. First, the yield is variable. When market volatility is elevated, when the options market is paying really rich premiums, JEPI's distribution is higher. During calm periods when volatility is low, though, the premium it collects obviously compresses, and so does the distribution. The 8 to 10% you see quoted is an average or trailing 12-month figure. Individual months will vary. Second, because the fund is continuously selling covered calls on its positions, it participates in stock market gains only up to a certain level. The covered call strategy caps how much the fund's value can grow in strong rising markets. But here's the framework for really evaluating whether JEPI's yield is genuinely good value for us. Total return is the only number that tells the complete story here. Total return means share price change plus distributions received combined. A fund that pays you 9% in distributions while its share price falls 3% over the same period has a 6% total return. A fund that pays you 3% in distribution and grows its share price by 9% has a 12% total return. The distribution amount alone tells you less than half the story. JEPI's total return typically runs in the 8 to 12% range on an annualized basis when measured over full market cycles. And that's really competitive, obviously. But for comparison, the S&P 500 itself with no options overlay has historically returned, 10 to 12% annually on a total basis. In a strong rising market year, the S&P 500 significantly outperforms JEPI because JEPI's upside is capped. This tells you something very important. JEPI is not trying to outperform the S&P 500. It's trying to deliver consistent lower volatility income that doesn't depend on the market going up. That's a different goal. And if it's your goal, JEPI is well designed. If your goal is maximum wealth accumulation over a 20-year bull market, JEPI is not the right tool here. Okay. Now, if you are interested in learning how to sell your own covered calls on your own high quality dividend paying stocks, click the first link in the description of today's video. That'll take you to our 90-minute Ark Options workshop. At the end, you get my 15 favorite stocks, all under 30 bucks, my 2 premium calculators, and my full trade log template. So make sure to attend that training after today's video. But let's talk about the cap that most people really miss here. And here's the specific cost of JEPI's income strategy. In 2023, the S&P 500 returned approximately 26%. JEPI's total return for that year was roughly 9%. That 17 percentage point gap is not a bad year for JEPI. It's the strategy working as designed. JEPI sold covered calls. It collected premium and sacrificed significant upside participation in exchange for that consistent income. For an investor in retirement who doesn't need the capital to grow dramatically, that trade is perfectly acceptable. They got 9% income with low volatility. Mission accomplished, okay? For a 40-year-old in the accumulation phase still, that same year represents $17,000 in unrealized compounding per $100,000 invested. Gone. The consistent income arrived every month, but the wealth building opportunity of a 26% market year was largely missed. But let's talk about where JEPI genuinely excels here. JEPI is at its best in 3 specific situations. The first is inside a Roth IRA during the accumulation phase. The monthly distributions reinvest tax-free, compounding at the full 8 to 10% yield over 20 years of tax-free compounding. Those monthly distributions build a significant position without any tax drag on the way. The upside cap matters less because the Roth account doesn't need to outperform the market. It needs to just compound reliably until retirement. The second is in a portfolio designed for income stability. JEPI's low volatility relative to the S&P 500 means it tends to decline less in market downturns. In 2022, when the S&P 500 fell 18%, JEPI fell approximately 3.5%. That downside protection is valuable for investors who can't stomach these large swings in portfolio value. The third is as part of a diversified income architecture, alongside SCHD for dividend growth, alongside SPY and QQQ for full market participation. In that structure, JEPI provides the consistent monthly cash flow while the other positions, right, capture the long-term upside, right? JEPI partially obviously sacrifices that. The distribution variability you should also know about here. JEPI's distributions are not stable like a bond coupon, okay? They fluctuate based obviously on market volatility, right? During elevated volatility periods, JEPI can distribute 50 to 60 cents per share monthly. During quiet markets, that number can fall to like 30 cents or even lower. Over a full year, the average might work out to be 8 to 9%, but individual months, they can vary significantly. And for investors who need predictable monthly income to cover fixed expenses, utilities, rent, groceries, right? That variability is a real planning challenge, okay? JEPI is better suited as an income supplement than as a fixed payment obligation. But look, JEPI's 8% yield, it's real, obviously. The distributions drive every month. The fund is professionally managed by literally JPMorgan. The strategy is sound, right? Selling covered call, like premium on quality S&P 500 stocks. So obviously that's an income approach we talk a lot about here. But what the yield hides is the trade-off, the upside cap that causes JEPI to underperform, right, in strong bull markets. That's not a flaw in the fund though. It's just how covered call strategies work. You got to be okay with that. You collect consistent income, you give up the big upside years. Whether that trade-off is right for you depends entirely on your phase of investing and your income needs. For someone who needs stable monthly income with lower volatility and is willing to sacrifice some upside potential, JEPI is a well-designed product for that specific purpose. For someone in the middle of a 20-year accumulation phase trying to build maximum wealth, the upside sacrifice is a big cost that compounds into a large number over time. The most common mistake with JEPI is holding it in the wrong account though, or at the wrong phase of investing, at least for me. Used correctly though, Roth IRA, income phase, part of a diversified architecture, it performs the job it was built for, okay? Used as a replacement for total market growth investing, it underperforms a lot. Got some questions for you guys as always in the comment section. Number one, are you currently holding JEPI? And is your reason for holding it income today or income in retirement or something else? Let us know down below. Number two, in a year when the market returns 20 or 25%, does the idea of JEPI capturing only a fraction of that bother you? Or are you at a stage where just the consistent income from it matters more than the upside participation? Let me know down below in the comments. And if you want a plain, easy to understand breakdown of the full Ark Options strategy, click the first link in the description of today's video. At the end of that 90-minute workshop, you'll get my 15 favorite stocks all under 30 bucks, my 2 premium calculators, as well as my full trade log template. As always, guys, sell options, collect premiums, repeat. I'll see y'all tomorrow.